Hi, this is YouTube librarian. I'm going to be reading from Virtual Reality Church, Pitfalls and Possibilities, or How to Think Biblically About Church in Your Pajamas, VR Baptisms, Jesus Avatars, and whatever else is coming next. This is from the introduction. Mm, Technology, a surprising coronavirus, a substitute. On my head, I have a Pico 4 that I'm going to discuss after reading from this book. This is a 2020 copyright book that I checked out from the Chicago Public Library. 2021. That's important. It was March 2020. In the blink of an eye at the end of spring break, Daryl, was told as a faculty member that all my classes would not meet in a traditional classroom. Social distancing had become a stock phrase. Students returning from who knows where to meet in the proximity of a classroom had become dangerous, and anyone could have had a hidden carrier. What would be the solution? All classes would go online. Teaching would be by live stream in a limited virtual environment. Professors could choose from a number of technology platforms, Zoom, Canvas, or Moodle. In the last few months, I have used each of these and more. Our workshop would follow the same rules. Suddenly, colleagues who were used to spending hours together collaborating side by side would do so only from a safe distance. Learning and work would go on just in a fresh, desperately needed way. When Jonathan and I first envisioned this book, I being Darrell L. Bach, the above scenario requiring online teaching was nowhere in our thinking. A global pandemic that shut down the world was a plotline for movies and science fiction. It sprung on us like Pandora's box. Yet, suddenly, thousands of professors and teachers and millions of students, some of whom had never even stepped into a video conferencing platform of any sort, much less ever donned VR goggles, had to discover a new way of teaching and learning with, or in the vast majority of cases, without goggles. Instruction, which is as old as humanity itself, had to take on a different form. Fortunately, an alternative was available. Same story was replayed in churches worldwide. All of a sudden, I found myself preaching or discussing theology online from Dallas to places like Cape Town in South Africa and Chennai in India. My ministry literally changed overnight. Virtual platforms for telecommunications run along a spectrum. A plethora of VR, virtual reality, and AR augmented reality products have debuted over the past several years. I myself, as YouTube librarian, am not familiar with the AR products, but I am with the VR products. However, the beginning of that spectrum is basic live streaming and video conferencing. Most class chat room environments do not work at the level of sophistication of VR, but they are related in some important ways. All these environments share some level of interactivity. Depending on the size of the group, they also vary in levels of intimacy. Any of them can provide social distance in the face of threatening viruses, something made painfully but gratefully evident during the unprecedented global coronavirus pandemic of 2020. In this book, we will discuss the potential in such engagement as well as its limits, and I, Daryl, will share what pushed me to think more positively about all forms of online engagement. I will also discuss from a ministry perspective the issues that administrators think through in order to decide what the medium of instruction should be, and what we decided to offer our council when the virus necessitated changes in the way we did ministry. Lessons from Australia. Now, I myself, as YouTube librarian, am familiar with Zoom. And in fact, I was accepted into a workforce education program at the University of Georgia. And all of the courses were going to be held using Zoom. So that's actually very important. I have worked with Zoom. And from a VR perspective, there is a line here about basic live streaming and video conferencing. That could be a little bit more clear to me, but the equivalent, the VR equivalent, the best VR equivalent to Zoom, which is a smartphone platform mainly, is HTC Vive Flow Sync. which does have a downloadable app on Google Play so that you could interact with other people. But I'm not sure altogether if that's what they're referring to with basic live streaming and video conferencing. I'm trying to think about what would be the best example based on my experience over the last year or two. Okay, so lessons from Australia. When I was growing up, we as a society communicated differently from how we do now. We had rotary dial phones, typewriters, and Xerox machines. There was no satellite communication between nations that would send video until I was 8 years old. In 1962, the Telstar satellite made live transatlantic television broadcasts possible for the first time. I've had to grow into technology, and many of you reading this have lived with it your whole life. These different experiences have produced different responses to technology's presence and near omnipresence. My change of heart towards certain forms of the use of technology for teaching the church and theological instruction came in 2012. I was always open to technology and appreciated it, but had thought that when it came to learning, face-to-face was always best. I still think this, but what I experienced was that the definition of face-to-face was being altered by technology. And in 2012, I was invited to teach a New Testament Introduction to NTI class in Perth, Australia. I had been teaching for 30 years, always face-to-face in a classroom. NTI is a class loaded with detailed information about the setting and context of the books and study of the New Testament. It is information heavy. My class was to be a hybrid, 6 weeks communicating online, and then a final week in Perth with my students. In the 6 weeks before my trip to Perth, I submitted questions related to some topics in NTI for students to respond to online. They did the assignments faithfully. All I had to identify my students was a picture of their face with their response. Today, one can interact live face-to-face with others in a variety of effective ways. Skype, initially released in 2003, FaceTime 2010, Zoom 2011, or Google Hangouts 2013. Get in line and take your pick. But my interactions with students were based on a question and answer format and involved a less technical, less visual chat interface. Still, I was able to learn about these students without ever seeing them. As they responded to my questions over the 6 weeks, I saw how they thought and reason, what resources they sought out, and how clearly they could express the ideas they grappled with. And so what I just read, to summarize, a teacher and a minister is discussing how he adopted various contemporary technologies. And so what he's saying is, of course, we're working with Skype and Zoom and Google Hangouts at this point, but he's also going to discuss the use of virtual reality as well. And so he put it into context. I mean, we had technology that we worked with before, like Xerox machines and typewriters and rotary dial phones. We are now working with Skype and Zoom and Google Hangouts as a country, as Americans. And so what will the role of VR be? And I thought that would be, that's from Virtual Reality Church by Daryl L. Bach and Jonathan J. Armstrong. Let's switch over to the Pico 4. Let's take a look at it. So from this vantage point, what you can see, there are some lenses here. They're not camera lenses. You don't actually take a picture or a video recording with these lenses. They're relating, I think, from what I understand, they're having a relationship with the controllers to establish where your specific location is. That's what we are being told. Whether the Snapdragon is looking at my apartment, and processing whether it has anything of value in it or whatever isn't clear, But it isn't a camera. It isn't a video recorder. In other words, from within the virtual reality environment, you can't take a photograph or record something. I can't take a picture of my microwave or record myself cooking. So when you see these lenses, don't let that to be. Now this here, it's some kind of ventilation. There is some heat being released on top. So that would suggest in the HTC Vive Flow sense of the word that air is circulating from here, and it's emanating from here as heat, like a heat exhaust. So it looks like air is entering into the unit, circulating through to cool it, and coming out as a kind of heat product, producing some heat. This is a relatively comfortable insert. It's detachable, so you can clean it. And that's what you see here, right? You don't see anything else. There is a button up here for lowering and increasing the volume. And there's a button here to turn on and off the unit. You may see here, kind of hard. I don't know if it's, no, it's just a black surface. So I'm putting on the VR headset. Okay, so the first thing we see when we turn it on, just assume that I press this button over here, is the setup play boundary. There are three main considerations that we're being told by the industry. One is right here. Make sure the area is clear of any obstructions that you might hit with your arms outstretched. With your arms outstretched. So what's the problem here? I have a closet door for my washer and dryer right over here. And right over here, I have a foot massager and a mini bike. So this is actually, let's step back a little bit. That's the best I can do. Let me make sure that I'm still being recorded. Let's head over here. Now I can outstretch my arms without hitting the closet, and I'm less likely to hit that. And I'm going to move back this footstool, which I sometimes sit on, by the way. We have a cute little avatar kind of demoing what you should do, which is to look around your space. And we're also being told to be careful about the light, that this is a very well-lit apartment, but that really strong sunlight can damage the video experience, the VR headset. And we are being told to wear the headset for only 30 minutes at a time. These are the three main reoccurring safety guidelines. I would add, you might want to have some eye drops handy in case of eye irritation. I got that advice from upper echelon eye specialist, not your standard eye doctor. And also, I think you should, especially if you're going to a VR arcade, you should make sure that it's cleaned properly before you use it. Like, you should say, could you clean it before I use it? Yeah, because even if you already did it, because I don't know if you did. Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's what you should do. There are three recommended guidelines, and I would add, make sure you have some eye drops handy. On the one hand, make sure that the headset is cleaned if you're at a VR arcade. That's 5 main points altogether. Are there issues? Yeah, I mean, you're a little bit more likely to trip and fall when you're wearing a VR headset that blocks your view. That's a liability issue. If you're at a VR arcade, there could be hygiene issues because, for example, what if my eyes tear up? So you gotta put all that into consideration. Okay, so I was already here earlier, and I just got the other day probably their signature game, like the main selling point. It's a cute little game. I was doing some frisbees, so I'm gonna hold this frisbee. I can't believe how cute this environment is. And see if I can hit the fruit. I got 200 points. And how that works is I reach down, grab the frisbee by pressing down on the trigger key. I move back, like in a normal frisbee stance, and then I let go in the hope of hitting the fruit or the target. So, so there I am. I'm throwing frisbees. It's kind of like a sporty environment. There are other characters here also throwing. So this is a really cute game, and it produces a simple motion of tossing a frisbee. I have to reach down, and that's it. I didn't defeat the CPU or AI unit. That game is super fun. It's called All-in-One Summer Sport, and it has a bunch of simple movements that you can make, but quite a few actually. Volleyball, shooting a gun, riding a bike. I can't even believe how many activities that we have here. Yeah, so this is jet skiing. Xbox had the opportunity to work with that using Kinect, and it was too clunky for it to be a good experience. Yeah. In other words, it failed. Yeah, as an Xbox experience. So here we are. I can't believe how it looks. It looks awesome. I'm on a, I guess they call it a jet ski. I'm trying to figure out how to use this thing. Obviously, I don't know how to use it yet. What am I doing? I understand what they're doing here. So that's backwards. And here we go. Right trigger moves forward. And then we're kind of like on a river, on a jet ski. And so when I move like this, up with and down like that, then I move to the left. I just hit a mountain clear. I don't know if you have to have your finger on those two triggers. Yeah, so I removed that. It looks like the right trigger finger results in moving forward, and the others are necessary. But then you kind of have to make this movement up and down if you want to move to the left or right. So that's what it looks like. What am I actually seeing? I just passed by some different colored cubes. I'm between, I'm on a river, kind of like at Six Flags Great America when they had the white water raft ride. And I'm on a jet ski. It's very impressive. Very satisfying. There's a cruise. Mega game. And Kinect, Xbox failed with this game using Kinect. It was very, they couldn't deliver using Kinect. It's probably not on, it would have been similar. The Kinect device would have seen me making these movements, and I would have been able to see it on the TV screen or the projected screen. And it's not like the Kinect device was a bad idea. I mean, it would actually somehow it would be able to see you somehow. Yeah, that's right. So in that respect, it's not altogether without merit to have worked with something like Kinect on a game like this, yeah, for the Xbox. Oh, I just hit a bomb. So this is super fun. Super fun. Very satisfying, substantial. The price point was very good. I couldn't believe what a good price I got on it. Okay. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Alright, we finished, but I failed. Barely made it to the finish line. So that would be considered awesome, to be honest with you. Yeah, that would be. And the first scene was pretty fun too. They have how to play. Oh my god, they want to do it again? Okay, let's do it again, but to be honest with you, I think I'm done with that. Yeah. So, I don't know how you make friends here. To be honest with you, I would assume that I'm socializing with people. Like, I think what it means, like, it's kind of like an Amazon Luna couch. I mean, if with Amazon Luna Couch, which is a video gaming service provided by Amazon, you could tell one of your friends or family members what your name is, yeah, and they would be able to kind of play the game together, yeah. So I would have to provide this to you that my name is capital Young, capital Adult, capital Librarian, all one word, dollar sign, and then you would search me for me in the friends add friends feature. And then when you did, then there would be some interactability. But that would assume that you have a Pico for, yeah, um, or with Luna, you could do the same thing. You can create like but you kind of have to have like a family or a friend. So it's kind of like a good gift idea. Maybe it's a good networking idea for a family, because you could like bond over something like this if you can. But I found out that my one of my family members is totally not interested. Even if I bought it for her, she wouldn't do it. But she also doesn't want to work with video games, even if I put it in her bedroom. So not everybody wants to adopt the technology, but it is a good idea to take advantage of this friends feature with your family as a possible gift to a family member. But Pico 4, unfortunately, is not ready for the American consumer market yet. I mean, ByteDance owned it for 2 years, and it's still not ready for the US market. So you shouldn't, as YouTube librarian, you shouldn't buy it yet, because if you go to your smartphone right now, the one that you're using, yeah, if you can't search for VR Assistant for Pico, if you can't find it, you shouldn't buy it right now. That's it. Take out your cell phone and look for VR Assistant for Pico. If you can't find the app on your cell phone, right now, today, don't buy the Pico 4. Don't try to buy another cell phone. It's either available on your cell phone, and then you could consider buying it. If you cannot download VR Assistant for Pico on your current cell phone right now using Google Play, then you should not buy Pico 4 at this time. End of discussion. But there are people like me who can get a lot of value anyway, and I've maxed out the value on this device, yeah. For example, you can do the Xbox, PlayStation trick of starting with free games. And if you have gone through the Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo experience, you'll be much more ready to appreciate some of the lovely VR games that they have available for free. I can't believe I have such good stuff here. I have all-in-one summer sports, puzzling places. It's kind of a three-dimensional puzzle. I only work with like 15 or 25 piece puzzles. Divine Duel, V Speedway, which is a car racing game, but kind of like using mini cars. Cactus. Alvo is the big one. It kind of provides. Let's click on Alvo. It provides like a experience comparable to the 500 million player Call of Duty experience, or the 1 billion player Call of Duty experience. Yeah. There are debatable numbers. It used to be 500 million, but with free mobile gaming with Call of Duty, it could be 1 billion. Alvo provides a virtual reality equivalent experience to the popular So when I do this, I should be just done. And I really enjoyed today reading from the virtual church book. So we might not do too much with Pico 4. We might just do a little bit, combining it with the reading, upload it, and continue reading. We'll continue learning and thinking about this. And so I'm using the trigger button. I call this the trigger button. Is it actually the trigger button? I don't know if it's actually the trigger. I call it the trigger button. I use it a lot. I also use the stick a lot. I would call this right stick. And I use the buttons right here a lot. So I'm seeing a bunch of cube-shaped parcels or packages. It would be suggested for over the sea travel. No, it's normally it's a normal packaging material, but I don't think it's a reference to Amazon necessarily as a job opportunity. I think it just means that there are opportunities to buy VR headsets at this time. That's what I'm concluding about this devices. And just like with Call of Duty, I've already been killed by someone. And I don't know, I actually want to quit at this point. Because once I'm dead, what's the point of continuing? I guess I gotta be ready to start shooting. So again, I'm using the trigger button, and I've already been stabbed, I've already been killed. So I'm getting killed pretty quickly. I see this game as an opportunity to look around and gain, like for example, there's mountain peaks. And the game doesn't want me to, I already got killed for the third time. So we kind of have what could be a monastery on a mountain peak. This is probably a church, an abandoned church here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get killed. I don't know if this is the same church. But it is in fact a virtual church. And one of the few virtual churches, no, I wasn't necessarily safe inside of it. But thank you guys from a foreign country. Because he actually did deliver the illusion of it being a matching experience from some people from Germany. So that game is pretty buff as well. And then I guess if I am still recording, I am. One last experience. Let's go to Clash of Chefs. In a way, this Pico 4 has achieved something called job training. And the first thing I have to do is I have to grip this thing and lower it. I have to lower it in the virtual environment, the counter that I would be working on. And then I think that's as far as we're going to be allowed to, because I don't know if we have any job marketing. Yeah, I did. Okay, so let's make some American food. I went to campaign, and there are like 3 options. There's campaign, endless, and casual. It's not altogether clear to me what the distinction is, but I can see that some other people have achieved mega scores already. I got to level 10 somehow. That means we're 9 levels beforehand. And so we just press play. There was like a little white. Okay, so I'm on level 10, and I'm actually like in a diner right now, and there's a waitress standing in front of me. She's getting an order from a black guy. It's telling me that I need to make a double burger with Oh, that wasn't good. I could have injured myself. So I got slammed already. Let's see what kind of mobility we have here. So yeah, that's not going to work. Unless I can relocate this operation. United. Let's see if we can recenter a position. Look forward and press recenter button. So let's say I head over here. I can see on my video. So we're going to recenter. And now when I reach for a burger, I don't hit the wall. I just put 2 burger patties on a grill. I grabbed a plate. I put a bun on the plate. The burgers are already ready. I have to, one of the red burgers got burnt. The timer is saying that I'm taking too much time. I'm cutting an onion. If that's what it looks like, so I got an onion. I put it on top of the burger. I get the other burger. One is already burnt. I lost my first customer. I have to remove the onion. I have to put some mustard on it. And then I put another bun. Let's see if she accepts this order. One person is going to get served. Not served. That could be it for me. I might not do what she better. I already burnt another burger. Can you believe it? 2 burgers got burnt already. And then I put some mustard on, and it's telling me I gotta make some French fries. How do I do that? Okay, so now I come over here, and I'm making French fries. So the fries are, I have to take out a container. This is mega hard work, actually. Oh, I burnt the fries. And so to be honest with you, while recording this, I'm kind of stressed out about this. Okay, I just lost a batch of French fries. I'm totally overwhelmed. I'm out of here. So I was not able to do this very well today. So that's it. This is YouTube Librarian. I demonstrated Alvo, a Call of Duty like game. There was an actual virtual church inside of the virtual environment. I've been there before. There really is a church in that game. I looked at all-in-one summer sports. I can't believe how awesome it is. And Clash of Chefs, which I got overwhelmed with. Thank you very much for